iPad kids are a new breed of children. They are well known for their public meltdowns. Are they misbehaved or misunderstood? Welcome to the Rebecca Blackday podcast. During this episode, we will be discussing how iPads and iPhones affect your children. I'm your host, Mr. Matthew Paul Nowak, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. I'm glad to be joined by my co-hosts, Mr. Thomas J. Pelletier III and Mr. Brendan J. Sharwood. Today, we also have a very exciting exclusive feature of Sir Ryan Gill. First, let's discuss screen time and how it affects the behavior of the youth.
According to a publication by Dr. Jennifer Cross, 2 to 4-year-old children that have screen time above 4 hours correlates with mental delays in communication and problem solving.
But what if they socialize online? That has to develop social skills. Like, what if they play puzzle games online?
Socializing online, especially as a kid, is a very dangerous idea whether you're being monitored or you are not being monitored. It would also not help much considering they probably wouldn't even be able to spell or say basic words. If they're very young, of course. Puzzle games also won't work, as the article that Ryan stated says that children will not be able to learn to stack blocks just by watching it on the screen. They'll need to touch the blocks and feel the texture and weight of the different materials and use trial and error to get one and balance on another. What this means is that children basically learn from texture and touch, not just tapping. Another thing not mentioned in this article that I feel like is very important is sleep. Screen time can heavily affect sleep due to the blue light being in your eyes. That's why doctors recommend only 2 hours of screen time and also to shut off all electronics before 9 p.m.
In an article by Hubert Munzer, it states that computers can help develop communication skills and cognitive function. How can both be true?
Well, I checked that article and it states that it only applies when the amount of screen time isn't monitored. We are talking about when the screen time is greater than 4 hours a day.
This is also great since it still shows that technology can be used in a healthy way as a child. It just needs to be monitored and it can't use certain applications.
Well, how can we fix this issue? When I have kids, I want them to have a balance of technology and normal activities, while also being able to have the development of a normal child.
Well, this is where Mark Travers comes in. He states in an article by him how to fix an iPad kid that says you can do many things, like limiting your child's screen time. One way of limiting your child's screen time is having a screen-free week. This can recalibrate the minds of your children and also just your entire family. Also being able to reflect on this week to know what limit you should have. You should also note that if you are doing this method, that the limit of screen time should not be above 4 hours or at 4 hours.
Interesting, and thank you. But what else can I do to make my kids' screen time as productive as possible?
Travers also says there is active and passive screen time. Passive screen time is sedentary, and it's activities like watching TikToks, YouTube, scrolling through Instagram, or playing video games that do not require movement. Meanwhile, active screen time includes physical activities that involve screen, such as playing on the MetaQuest, PlayStation Move, or things that require heavy brain activity, like doing homework, studying, or playing video games that develop spatial awareness.
Why would you give your kids access to social media in the first place? Sounds like a really bad idea. This goes into our next topic. Let's discuss the dangers and societal shift social media has caused in the children in the modern generation. The first thing we should say is why social media can be bad for children for reasons other than high screen time.
The first problem with children using social media is that it can lead to the kids having unrealistic expectations of themselves. Studies from the Cleveland Clinic state people who use social media for 3 hours or more have double the chance to have depression or anxiety. This is not just with children either. This involves everyone.
This makes monitoring what kids are mentally digesting a very important thing. If we feed them junk that promotes looks, surgeries, money, sex, and drugs, that is what they will want and search for online.
Another very serious reason social media is dangerous for children is because you do not know who's on the other side of the screen. This can allow predators to get in contact with your children, which will always end bad.
According to Rashimita Das, 500,000 online predators are online daily. The majority are going after those in their young teen years, between 12 and 15. This means that even we are targets, which is why you should always be thinking about who is on the other side of the screen.
To avoid this major problem in society, you should cut off all interaction with social media that your little sibling or child can have with it, and also block all chat rooms and adult content sites.
If your child or sibling does come into contact with anyone, immediately read through their messages and determine whether it was a serious threat or an attempt for the kid to socialize. If it is a genuine threat, immediately contact local authorities or give a tip to the FBI at tips.fbi.gov/home. If it is not a threat, still cut off the contact with the person and delete all social media. If you are their older sibling, also tell your parents. And remember, if anyone messages you inappropriately or has, block them and follow with the previous tips depending on severity.
Child predation is a serious problem in modern day society, and keeping children from online message rooms and social media sites is crucial to keeping children safe online. Do you have a child or an older sibling? If so, what have they said or done that is different from your childhood, or how children would act when you were younger? On a much lighter note, let's discuss how the rise in technology, especially with children, has changed modern day culture and slang.
A good start would be talking about the language now used in the modern culture.
There has been a recent change in slang that has been called brain rot. Brain rot is a trend in slang commonly used in the younger generation. Some popular words used are Riz, Skibbity, Phantom, Ohio, Sigma, and Mewing.
This trend in language is due to the popularization of it on TikTok, while also being the popularity of said words in general. Kids will repeat anything that is seen as cool or popular to them. The constant repetition is what makes these words classify as brain rot. Brain rot referring to the terms used when older people used to say television would rot your brain, for an example.
Because of this, we decided to quiz our teachers and fellow students on the topic of brain rot. Here's a clip from our beloved teacher, Mr. Hill, taking the quiz.
Alright, now, what is Skibbity Toilet?
This is something you guys refuse to explain to me. I'm just gonna go with my obvious answer.
He doesn't even know.
Right.
Alright, now, what aura does Matthew Nowak, the one recording, have?
He's a bright young man. Nonchalant dreadhead. Do I get an explanation of what the answers mean?
So, nonchalant dreadhead means like nonchalant and cool. Hog Rider is a card and hit mobile game Clash Royale. And Minecraft Steve is Minecraft Steve, and Tom Brady is Tom Brady. It's like Tom Brady, like I can catch.
Tom Brady throws the ball.
I can throw.
Well, I think you're a cool kid, so I'm gonna go with nonchalant.
The statistics of the brain rot assessment are a range of 3 to 10 points out of 10 questions, a median of 80%, and an average of a 76.7% correct. This means that there is 7 to 8 brain rot terms that a person from the ages of 14 to around 60 knows on average, at least, since we didn't use every single word, of course.
Honestly, I was surprised since I thought brain rot was just in kids.
I wasn't too shocked since I hear brain rot terms being used every day.
Same.
Maybe you guys just have brain rot.
Another thing that changed with the modern generation is how people are classified as celebrities and how celebrities grow. Due to social media allowing everyone to have a platform, this is a big game changer. Anyone can be a celebrity nowadays. They can range from streamers like Kai Cenat and the notorious Queso to people doing dances on TikTok and even people just sitting in their rooms playing video games. You now can be famous for anything.
Really? Anything?
I mean, I've seen people get famous from eating a ton of food on camera.
My favorite one is the guy that just records himself making sandwiches and then talks over them.
I remember when singing, being a professional sports player, or acting in popular movies made people famous.
It truly shows the change in society technology has had and how people are crowned as celebrities. It also changes who kids look up to as role models.
Honestly, the thought of that horrifies me. Which brings us to an even bigger question. Who should our kids be looking up to now?
As a summary, we have discussed how screen time affects children, how social media affects children, and lastly, how being on social media has affected the slang of pop culture. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more from RBD Productions. Goodbye for now.